Long before the sun's golden rays touch the rooftops of the sleeping village, the medieval innkeeper is already awake. The air is still, thick with the scent of last night's ale and the faintest trace of ashes cooling in the hearth. In the pitch-dark silence of the early morning, the innkeeper's day begins not with grandeur, but with a flint, a spark, and the hungry breath of fire catching on straw. Lighting the hearth is the first and most sacred act of the day, for without fire, there is no warmth, no bread, no drink, no life within the inn's timber frame. The inn itself is a patchwork of age and function, wattle and daub walls, timber beams blackened by smoke, a stone floor cold beneath worn leather shoes. The sleeping quarters upstairs creak with the weight of snoring travelers. Downstairs, the common room is a mess of overturned stools, abandoned tankards, and the strange quiet that comes after much noise. The innkeeper moves through this silence like a shadow, lifting benches, righting chairs, and collecting the tankards, each one a small story from the night before. A merchant, heavy with coin, who boasted too loudly. A pilgrim, murmuring prayers into her cup. A thief, perhaps, pretending to be anything but. He remembers them all. He must. The innkeeper is not just a keeper of keys and ale, but of secrets, grudges, and whispered truths. Soon the inn begins to stir. The potboy, barely more than a child, stumbles in, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He's sent to the well for water. The fire needs feeding. The ale needs warming. Bread must be broken and cheese sliced. The innkeeper supervises with quiet precision. Everything must be ready before the first knock comes at the door. And it will come. It always does. In the cellar, the innkeeper inspects the ale barrels. Some are near empty. A good sign, but also a concern. Ale must be brewed and rotated. If it spoils, the reputation suffers. If the reputation suffers, so too does the purse. Brewing is an art, and though the wife or daughter may tend the pots, it is the innkeeper who watches the yeast like a priest guards his altar. Outside, the village awakens with a yawn and a cough. Carts creak, roosters crow, and smoke begins to rise from a dozen chimneys. Already, a figure in a cloak approaches. Perhaps a traveler, perhaps trouble. The innkeeper wipes his hands, smooths his apron, and prepares to greet the day. By mid-morning, the inn is no longer a quiet sanctuary. It hums with footsteps, whispers, and the gentle clink of coin against table. Travelers arrive in waves, a dust-covered merchant, a red-faced miller, a wide-eyed novice monk. Some come for food, some for drink, others for news. But all come because the inn is the beating heart of the village. The innkeeper watches them all. He reads their clothes, their hands, the tension in their shoulders. Is that traveler truly alone? Does that nobleman carry guards or secrets? A good innkeeper knows when to speak and when to listen, when to press and when to fade into the background. Food is prepared with haste and care. Pottage bubbles in the pot, a blend of yesterday's vegetables and whatever meat could be spared. Bread is served in thick, uneven slices. Cheese, hard and pungent. If a guest is lucky, perhaps a boiled egg or a few apples. Meals are not luxurious, but they are honest and filling. As the tables fill, so do the corners of the room with conversation. A traveler brings news of a distant war. A local farmer complains of wolves near the forest path. Two pilgrims argue over the best shrine on the King's Road. The inn becomes not just a place to rest, but a crossroads of stories. The innkeeper listens. He hears of taxes rising in the next shire, of a bishop caught in scandal, of a knight whose banner flies alone. Each tale is tucked away, ready to be shared or withheld as needed. Children run in with coins from their mothers, begging for a heel of bread or a mug of weak ale. The innkeeper smiles, obliges. Their fathers drank here last night. Their grandfathers, too. The inn is older than memory and will outlast them all, so long as its hearth stays lit and its tables full. By the time the sun stands high in the sky, the morning rush has slowed. This is the innkeeper's time to tend to things unseen. The back rooms need sweeping. The chamber pots need emptying. A window shutter hangs loose and must be repaired. No task is glamorous, but each is necessary. The pot boy is sent to sweep the stables. A guest has complained of fleas. The innkeeper grimaces, not at the guest, but at the work ahead. A clean stable keeps the animals calm, and calm animals mean happy travelers. A young drunkard stirs in the corner. He hadn't a coin for a room, only a bench and a blanket. Now he groans, asking for water, perhaps forgiveness. The innkeeper offers one, not the other. There are rules here, even for those who drink too deep. A commotion outside, a wheel broken on a cart. The innkeeper steps out, squints into the light, and offers help. Not out of kindness, exactly, but practicality. If the man stays to repair, he'll eat. If he eats, he pays. So the wheel is braced, and the man is welcomed in. The cellar calls again. A rat's been spotted. The innkeeper descends with a lantern and a stick. The air is damp, filled with the scent of yeast and thyme. No rat appears, but he tightens the lids on every barrel, checks the salt stores, and makes a note to speak to the brewer. A local priest stops by. He doesn't drink, but he eats. They talk of sermons, of the harvest, of the new lord rumored to be building a manor nearby. Gossip flows more freely than wine in these hours. Outside, children play in the dust. Inside, the innkeeper scrubs a sticky table, humming a tune from when he was a boy. The day is long. The work is constant, but the rhythm is familiar. By late afternoon, the pace quickens. The inn, once sleepy, now prepares for its most lively hours. Dinner is the grand event, not for extravagance, but for company. The potboy hauls water. The fire is stoked higher. Spices are added to the stew. More ale is poured. Locals arrive in waves, tradesmen, farmers, washerwomen. The innkeeper greets them by name, remembering debts, preferences, arguments. A good innkeeper does not forget. A bard has appeared, ragged but charming, promising a story in exchange for supper. The innkeeper nods. A story is worth more than a bowl of pottage. The tables fill. The candles flicker. A drunken song rises, then another. Two men arm wrestle over a wager. A young couple holds hands beneath the table. The hearth roars with life. This is the soul of the inn. But even in joy, the innkeeper watches. A glance becomes a scuffle. A scuffle threatens to become a fight. With a firm word and a heavy hand, he restores order. He is host, but also warden. Plates are cleared. More ale is served. The bard tells a tale of dragons and doomed knights. The room leans in. Even the potboy listens, slack-jawed. A woman asks for a private room. She pays in coin too clean for a peasant. The innkeeper nods, but wonders. Always wonders. At last, the night begins to wane. Guests stumble to rooms or out into the dark. The fire dims. The song fades. Only the tired, the lonely, and the innkeeper remain. The potboy sleeps near the hearth, curled like a cat. The innkeeper moves quietly, gathering mugs, wiping spills, righting stools. By candlelight, he counts coins. Not many, but enough. He wraps them in cloth, hides them beneath the loose stone. He checks the door locks, bars the shutters, listens to the wind. Upstairs, someone snores. In another room, a whispered prayer. Outside, an owl hoots. He sits by the fire, warming his hands. The inn is quiet again, as it was in the morning, but not empty. Never empty. He pours himself a final cup of ale. Not too much. Just enough. He drinks slowly, thinking of nothing in particular. Another day done. Another night survived. He leans back, eyes heavy. Tomorrow, the fire must be lit again. The bread baked. The stories heard. But for now, there is only the quiet, and the last ale before bed.